Hello! So, elephant in the room. No better way to really start off this February 2021 update. February of 2021. It's ridiculous. I turned 27 later on this month. It's goddamn weird. Elephant in the room. If you pay attention to me on Twitter, Twitch, Discord, you are well aware that I had been roster editing, as I do every year. Again, if you've been around this channel for a year or so, or if not much, much longer for some of you, you know that every year I, around, the first couple of roster updates, do my own editing to add in the players that EA cannot legally add in, to add in the players that are missing at that particular time from their updates, to make changes to overalls and potentials, because I think they do a horrible job. Call a spade for people who think game changers don't shoot straight with their criticism or don't criticize at all. Hi, how you doing? It's been horrible, and I've been on record as saying I thought the November 4th update, which is where I started roster editing, the rosters were in the worst state they had been in since I'd been on YouTube. And that's not hyperbole. Like, that is my honest opinion, is that they were that bad. So, as I do, make those edits. And of course, this year as well, a lot of heights, weights, handedness that were just off. Players with missing NHL rights that should have had them. The whole shebang. The free agent list was a disaster. Let's have Dustin Byfuglien still be there. Let's have Chad Johnson, who hasn't played an NHL game in like 2 or 3 years, still be an 80 overall, like an NHL caliber backup. Just awful. So, as I do, I started my updates. And of course, we had to start later this year because, number one, NHL 21 was delayed. Secondly, when it came out, you couldn't roster edit you couldn't edit defensemen in general because it would read them as forwards because of the change to now have lefties and righties. And of course, franchise mode was in a real shit spot from the time that this game launched. Point being, and again, if you follow me on these platforms, you know this, I, on Saturday, was about to begin the new series. And as I'm doing my final preparations, again, I was going to move into, and am still going to move into, recording episodes live on Twitch. Twitch for the sake of getting extra videos done. Again, I want to do more GM trade histories, more draft re-rankings, more videos just talking about events in hockey. And of course, videos like the Cold War, talking about older hockey video games. I still want to do that. The Cold War isn't canceled. I'm happy with it. We're bringing it back very soon. Trust me. That's the reason why I put so much work into roster editing, because I'm like, if I get this shit done, then I can focus on this other stuff. 5 minutes before I start streaming, I noticed that my rosters are gone. Essentially, this update, for some reason, wrote over 2 save files. My main editing one and my backup one. It overwrote both of them. 2.5 months worth of work. 100 plus pages on the editing dock. Gone. All of it. Created players, all deleted. Everything was gone. So yeah, for the first hour and a half there, it'd be fair to call it a panic attack. First hour and a half, 2 hours of just trying to essentially go through the stages of grief to figure out, like, what the hell am I going to do? And legitimately, there were the thoughts of, am I done with NHL 21 this year? Even though it's February, am I going to wait until September or October to do franchise mode videos again because I'm just disgusted? I've equated it to completing a gigantic, like, 10,000 piece puzzle. You leave the room because, like, shit, my phone's in the other room. I want to take a picture of this puzzle. You come back, somebody had flipped the desk. The puzzle's all apart again. What do? Do you redo the puzzle? Sure, you know where some of the pieces fit in a little bit better, but my God, the time investment. Or do you just move on to a different puzzle? And, beyond that, then the anger really kicked in. Aside from the depressing disappointment, the anger kicked in, where it wasn't just, not only am I sitting here thinking I might be done with NHL 21 for the year, I'm also starting to get frustrated because, again, plans, months of work just went up in flames in front of me. And it's because of a glitch that apparently has no specific trigger, but that we've been telling the devs about for a couple of years now. NHL 18, 19, especially NHL 20, a lot of people mentioned, like, dude, my roster's just disappeared. What the fuck? And I never had an answer because I never heard back. And even this year as well, I've had people say, shit's disappeared. I know for the YouTubers, I think Tactics had that happen to him. I know for other streamers, friends of mine like Coco, Coco Sports on Twitch. He did a bunch of editing, adding in like viewers of his channel to the game. All the shit just disappeared randomly. And I don't know what the trigger is for it. Because for me, it was a matter of I loaded up the game, I loaded up my rosters, jumped into franchise mode, and at that point, I guess by the time I had looked to load up my rosters from right here, it was already overwritten from the last time I had turned off the game. I had no idea. Like, literally, I finished editing. You know, do what I always do. Yes, it's 4:30 in the morning. Went down to quit, bada bing, bada boom. And then the next time I loaded up the game, it must have just auto-saved over it. I don't have an explanation because I have had other people say, well, I've loaded into the game, and then it disappeared like as I was backing out of franchise mode. Or it disappeared because I loaded into HUT. Or it disappeared because I went to create a player or create a team. There is seemingly no trigger, specific trigger for this issue. So on one hand, it's like, okay, I can understand why EA hasn't maybe solved it yet, but on the other, it's like, man, it's been here for a couple of years. I was lucky enough to dodge the bullet for the last couple of years. I was not so fortunate this year. And like I said, I was angry. For me, it was, man, I might quit, like, the NHL series for this year. I was heavily debating quitting the EA Game Changers program out of just pure disgust. And obviously, you know, getting to sleep on, you know, Saturday into Sunday and just being able to sit on it and think about what I wanted to do. And then even a lot of, you know, Sunday, obviously now it's into Monday, you know, just thinking like, shit, what the hell am I going to do? And it was after Sunday's stream where I played a hell of a lot of this. My favorite hockey game of all time, of course. If you look at my most viewed videos on this channel, you will see that quite a bit. And of course, it is the inspiration for the Cold War series. You know, I got to sit there and think about, like, okay, what do I want to do? And in regards to the idea of quitting the Game Changers program, I had, and, you know, fuck it, whatever. I'm sure he doesn't mind me mentioning it. I had about a 2-hour conversation with Ben Ross, who is the lead designer of this game, just mentioning my frustrations. And, you know, I think, again, and it's not just me, you know, blowing smoke up my ass here, but a lot of people just think, oh, Game Changers, they're just ass kissers. And I think anybody who knows me, who follows what I do here, who's in that program as well, could attest to the fact, and Ben certainly could as well. I do not lick boots. What you get with me in terms of what they get with me in terms of the feedback is the same exact fucking things I say to you guys in terms of that same level of frustration. Maybe sometimes to my detriment, being, you know, at least not sugarcoating things a little bit to the point where it might seem like a personal attack or something like that. But it's a cliche, but I say it as it is. You know, I don't pull any punches in my criticism here. And I didn't in that conversation with him. And it pretty much came down to, you know, just us kind of just talking through things about, like, hey, here's my perspective of this shit. And, you know, the response isn't like, oh, well, that's like, he's like, no, I get it. I understand. Why wouldn't you be frustrated after losing that much work? So it's at the point now where, you know, you talk about the whole Game Changers thing. I'm going to stay until they kick me out. Because what they've done, you know, I'm not the only one there for franchise mode or roster editing, essentially. They haven't kicked me out yet. So clearly, considering over the years we have seen some changes, and I'm not going to sit here and claim sole credit, but we have seen changes to franchise mode that I was asking for years ago that have been implemented since. We've seen changes to editing players, such as the multi-positions and stuff like that I have been personally mentioning. And of course, you've seen it here. And of course, I've been saying it to them directly. Hey, let's get this stuff in. Certain overalls and potentials have been directly copied in official updates, especially in junior leagues in prior years that were on my editing doc. So, fuck. Why not? Why not stay? Why not just, you know, keep voicing the opinion and not just being like, hey, this is what I want. It's what you guys want. And of course, those wants often line up. That's why we're still here. You know? That's why things still work out, is because I won't sit here, obviously, and be like, I have the biggest fan base on YouTube or on the internet. But holy hell, in terms of the passion and I guess just the overall sense of community, like, I put you guys up there with anybody else. Like, my God, in terms of the thought of, like, yeah, my viewers support me. You are in that top 1% for sure. No doubt about it. And I thank you guys very much for that. So that is the situation with the rosters. Then it came down to, okay, not leaving the game changer deal, but what the hell am I going to do with NHL? Am I going to re-edit everything? Am I going to try to re-edit it as in-depth as I possibly can? Because for those of you that know, on the editing doc, you know, I was really trying to make that push. Didn't mean to go to the AHL, but whatever. I was really trying to make that push where someone like Chris Russell really wouldn't be good offensively, but the defense might be a little bit better, maybe. You know, for example, a defensive player is not going to have good offensive stats. Connor McDavid's going to have 99s in like every offensive stat in skating, but his defensive awareness isn't going to be that high because he's not good defensively. You know, it was still possible to get these high overalls. Sure, if it's a left wing, I might have given him 99 faceoffs. Of course, poise doesn't do anything really, so 99 poise, 99 fighting skill to get those ratings up there. But I was really excited to see how it was going to play out. We got one test run look at it with Vegas, something that I deleted because I'm like, well, I don't need this anymore. And then my rosters disappeared. So otherwise we could have done that at least. But yeah, so it's just a question of, am I going to do like that super in-depth editing again? Am I going to kind of do like a light version of the editing where I don't really care about the attributes, but it's just get players to the right overall and the right potential and just fucking deal with it for now? Or am I just going to say screw it for NHL 21 franchise? And, you know, the big problem for me, of course, is franchise mode is the staple of this channel. It's the reason why we're still here. It's the reason why you guys are here, I'm sure, most likely. You know, I know some people have found the channel through like, oh, hey, I saw you playing this on Twitch or whatever. After a lot of thought, right? Because like I said, I heavily considered just distancing myself from this game. And, you know, the community built around it, the game changes, everything. I consider just being like, I'm out for this year. I'm out. I'll figure something out. But the problem is, I'm the type of person where if I have my eyes set on a certain plan or like a certain event, like I'm going to see it through, right? I was so looking forward, and of course, if you've been on Twitter, you know this. So looking forward to these two series, taking over the Pittsburgh Penguins for the first time, because I don't think there's ever been a more interesting time to do a Penguins franchise, a straightforward series, and Draft to Glory Goon Squad 2, featuring Legend Enforcers. And it's that idea, really, that is pushing me to say, you know what? Let's just fucking deal with EA's garbage-ass rosters. It does, in a way, affect my enjoyment of the game. I'll be completely honest with you. It's very tough for it to not hurt my enjoyment of the game because I care that much. To me, if you have a bunch of garbage ratings, it heavily affects how franchise mode plays out. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has no business being an 85 overall anymore. Charlie McAvoy only being an 86, call it Bruins bias if you want, is a disgrace. I mean, there are, and I mean, I could pretty much go through every team and say this is ridiculous. Elias Lindholm I have as a 90. And again, you look at the changes I was making too, a lot of it was analytics based. You know, Elias Lindholm, Mark Giordano, these are heavily underrated players. It is disgusting that Dougie Hamilton is an 85 and not a 90 plus. Disgusting. And a sign that whoever is behind these is not doing a good enough job for one reason or another, which again is why I get stuck editing. Duncan Keith having the same rating as Dougie Hamilton in 2021 is a slap in the face to people like me who give a shit about this type of stuff and who care about really up-to-date and as realistic as you can get franchise mode. But I think what I'm going to do is just put up with it and then slowly, because what we had been doing on stream is roster editing and somehow not having horrible metrics and numbers, we're going to do some roster editing, that lighter roster editing in the background when I have free time while the Penguin series and Goon Squad 2 are ongoing. We're going to move forward with those ideas. Again, even though I fucking hate these rosters. John Marino having that potential and that overall. Brian DeMula, Marcus Pettersson. I'd have all three of these guys as like 85s, 86s. Michael Matheson like a 78. They are horrific. Make no mistake. These ratings are fucking horrific. But the only alternative is to, again, work my ass off to get this done into a decent way, which takes up everything I want to do on stream and takes up my spare time off stream, and, you know, like my allotted video editing time. You know, I'd have to dedicate all that to roster editing and still not be able to do stuff like the Cold War. And that's just not something I'm willing to do at this point, as fucking shitty as this is. You know, the past 2 nights on stream, it really should have been those 2 series start, and I'm already working on the Cold War, the next episode. And instead, that didn't happen. So we're going to deal with it. I'm going to try to, like I said, get these rosters to where I want them to be. In terms of the overalls and potentials, it's easy enough. It's just copying data over from the editing doc that's already out there. So I'll be able to kind of give a full update to the editing doc off of what we've seen so far. And, of course, just being able to make those changes. So the game plan for me right now, YouTube-wise, is, again, I'm still going to record stuff on Twitch. And pretty much everything I record or stream on Twitch, I'm going to send over to YouTube as well, just like I've been doing with FHM and NBA. I pretty much have it set up to where it's going to be like a 2-day kind of schedule. Like a day 1, so to speak, is Pittsburgh and NHL 2K10. NHL 2K10, I absolutely adore the gameplay. And if you want to see what I mean, feel free to check out the video, the VOD, you know, the replay of yesterday's stream. Where we played it for a good 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and you'll see how much fun I had. Especially check out the last game. It was Montreal and Boston, and it was a doozy, and I had so much goddamn fun. On this game, on stream, I am going to see if I can play through a full 82-game season, because I love the gameplay that much. We're going to see if it can happen. Day 2 is going to be Draft to Glory Goon Squad, and the return of NCAA Football 13. I do not know what team we're using yet, but we're going to be doing a Dynasty mode on that, which, again, I had a blast with over a year ago at this point, with Tulane, turning them into Tuglane, the #1 team in the nation, and we're going to look to pick another team and do that as well and meme our way to glory with one of the best Dynasty/franchise modes that there's ever been in a sports game. So, that's kind of the plan. Moving forward, I want to shout this out as well. Of course, there is everything in the description, all the links that you need to know. But as well, of course, there is the podcast, which I'm doing with my friend Deej, Tugi's Take. Just search Tugi on Spotify or Apple Music. You'll be able to find it. But the Tugi's Take podcast is out there. We record every Tuesday. So we look to have episodes up on Tuesday, Wednesday at the very latest. Here on YouTube, you'll get a couple of clips here and there. I might upload the full show, but we really are trying to drive people right now to Spotify and Apple Music to essentially get us on their radar to the point where we're established and, you know, things are going a little bit better for us in terms of, hey, we're in the search functions and we're showing up for people that aren't you guys. So we really are trying to drive you guys over there for now. And eventually, yeah, I hope to get to like a Steve Dangle point where it's like, okay, you can listen on Spotify, YouTube, wherever the hell you want. And I want to mention this as well. Patreon, of course. Patreon.com/Tuki24 for a bunch of extra content. Again, we've had it for over a year now. It's crazy how many of you guys still support me over there. But again, we have recently reworked that. The tier 1 option, literally $1, gets you in the door. Gets you early access to the larger videos, so the stuff like the Cold War series, GM trade histories, whatever. And also we're going to have kind of a viewer question portion, as we've had on the Tuki's Take podcast recently. And that'll get you top billing, top priority, guaranteed to answer those. The $5 tier, get your name in the credits of every video. They used to be in the $10 tier. And we're also going to be having like the Tuki's Take Extra, like a little, you know, a smaller kind of side part to the podcast that'll be exclusive to people on Patreon. $10 Rumble tier, we are still going to have the exclusive franchise mode on Patreon as well, as decided by you guys. Doesn't necessarily have to be NHL 21. It could be NHL 10. It could be NHL 94 if you wanted. I don't give a shit. Whatever you guys want. And of course, you have the option to vote on the videos like the GM trade histories, the draft retrospectives, and such. People are asking for this. $15. Get my dog a treat, a toy, whatever the hell you want. $25. Of course, you get everything else that was already named, and you get your own Twitch emote as well. People are asking for that. $50. You get everything. You get a t-shirt too. There you go. I think that's everything that's going on right now on this channel. Again, it is 2021. It's February already. Twists and turns aplenty, right? Twists and turns aplenty, but we are still here, damn it. And I've mentioned this before. I mean, aside from, concerns over, like, family members in regards to COVID and, like, holy shit, guess what? Things aren't going too well in the States in terms of, suppressing everything. But aside from that, if my biggest complaint, man, is like, oh shit, my roster file disappeared. Like, I'm doing pretty good. Does it fucking suck? Yes. It doesn't make you a douche to complain about your own personal problems, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, fucking people are starving in Africa. Well, yeah, I can't do shit about that, though. Doesn't mean a problem like this isn't fucking annoying to have invested hundreds of hours, right? No different than someone complaining about, like, man, this Karen at work. That's not an invalid complaint. Point being, though, I'm doing pretty goddamn good, and you guys are such a big part of that. I cannot believe that we're still here, that we're still doing this here on YouTube. I'm not stopping anytime soon. So again, YouTube, Twitch, all the links in the description, of course. Make sure, by the way, to check out twitch.tv/NHLGamer. Of course, doing the esports commentary as well. So make sure to follow that channel. You'll be able to catch myself and my buddy Sin for the Win Productions, who also look up here on YouTube, as we continue to do color commentary as that league is winding down. Semifinals of the playoffs start today, hopefully by the time this video is up. With that, it's been 20 minutes or so, a little bit longer. I thank you for watching this. Hopefully, I feel kind of bad for spreading out some of the information, but hey, you know what it is, what it is. I will see you guys very soon. Thank you for your continued support. Fuck this game's horrible glitches, but god damn it, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to make the fucking best of it and keep moving forward.